Good morning, everybody, live on YouTube as well as Instagram. If you are hopping on, grab some coffee and let's spend a few minutes together real early this morning talking about your value as a childcare director. So, have you ever asked yourself the question, how can I increase my value as a childcare director or a preschool director or manager? How can I ask for more money, feel more confident when I am, in a meeting with a potential employer, or if I'm actually running the center? How can I feel that I am bringing more to the table? And how can I make sure that I really position myself as the childcare director that local business owners want to have running their programs for them? So that's what we're talking about in this morning's early video. If you're new here, my name is Christina Rizakos. I am a childcare business marketing expert. I'm an early childhood educator by trade. I worked for myself for over 16 years. I ran my own childcare center. And then I sold it a couple of months before the pandemic hit to venture off into the online space, which I totally love and geek out over. Right now, what I do is I help childcare providers from all over the world run their programs, being able to be fully booked and teach them marketing skills and strategies that, let's face it, most childcare businesses out there don't necessarily know about. And that's what I do, as well as homeschool my 4 kiddos. So if you are on live and you are a childcare director and you want to know how you can increase your value, well, this is the perfect video for you to watch, because that's what we're diving into. And before I dive into my 3 points on how I think you can increase your value, let me just stop real quick and just mention these things. That value, being able to position ourselves in a position of, I don't want to say authority, but like the expert, right? It's something that you have to get real confident in accepting. And I know a lot of times, a lot of clients that I speak to, a lot of people that I connect with online, they have a hard time with taking themselves seriously and really walking into that role of a director. And that's the first thing that we want to address, right? Why should someone want to hire me? That is the question that you have to ask yourself. And it's exactly the same thing, for example, when I'm working with my clients one-on-one and we hop on strategy calls and I ask them the question. They're telling me that they're struggling with enrollments. They feel like, other daycares in the area are always fully booked and they're not, and all this stuff. And then I ask them a very simple question. Well, why would a local family, choose your program, your home daycare over someone else's? And that usually stops them, and they're thinking, okay, well, it's because I do this differently. It's because I offer this and I do that. And, you really have to get in that mindset of positioning yourself as that authority, right? As that authority of childcare, childcare director, marketing agency, whatever it is that you're offering. You have to be able to be confident enough to position yourself in that position so that people know when they're connecting with you, when they're hopping on your website, when they're reading your blogs or your social media content, that they feel that, yes, she knows what she's talking about. Okay. It's actually the same thing quick story, when I started working in the daycare before I started my own childcare center. It was the last job that I had. And I started working in the classes with 3-year-olds. And I remember my director, she was also the owner of the business. She asked me if I would be interested in slowly transitioning to the office, because she realized that not only did I have the skills to work in the classroom, I was good with the parents, I was good with the staff, and I also had other skills, that were based around the computer and management and software and all that, and, all that stuff. So I obviously jumped at the chance. But again, I had positioned myself in a place of, I know this. I know exactly what I have to do in order to, develop a website, or to get more people to book tours in the center, or to keep the parents happy, right? I had positioned myself in that place, and I knew that if, once given the opportunity, I would obviously jump on it. And I did, obviously. So you have to be able to have that type of mindset. Okay. So let's dive into 3 things that I think are super valuable and that can actually add to your value as a childcare director. The first thing is all about mindset. Okay. So I talk a lot about mindset, not as much when I'm doing marketing trainings. But I do actually have a newsletter that I send out to my list every single Friday, real early in the morning, that I write every single week on my own. And I write it up and then I send it right away because I wanna make sure that childcare directors out there know that mindset is so important. And it's one of those things that we never talk about. We rarely talk about. Thinking back to when I was doing my trainings to work in daycare, we never talked about mindset. It was just one of those things that wasn't even addressed. It wasn't even a part of the curriculum. So as a business owner, I know how important this is. When you're starting a business, when you're applying for positions, when you're dealing with clients, when business is not going well, when you're struggling, right? Mindset is everything. I say it's like 80% of the battle. So the first thing you want to think about when you're trying to find ways to increase your value as a childcare director, when you're applying for jobs or when you're actually in, or even if you're working in a position right now, is to get to start changing your mindset around your position. And what that means is that taking your job seriously but yourself lightly, right? Nobody wants nobody wants a director that's always like not smiling or that's not approachable. But what I mean by that is taking your position seriously. You're not just another employee. You're not the janitor, or you're not the teacher working in the class or the sub. You are the director. You are the one that is at the top, right? You're at the top right there, and everything else depends on you in this position to run a business, to run a team, to make sure that everything is working smoothly. So when I am on, phone calls, or when I'm talking with clients and they're struggling because they feel like, oh, I don't know what to do if somebody calls in sick, or how do I get my staff to show up on time? How do I get the staff to stop yelling at the kids? And when I hear things like this, I know immediately that this director has not taken their role seriously. I know that this director is approaching their job like a job that they need to keep because they need to pay the bills, and that's it. And that's really, really unfortunate. But the good news is that you can definitely fix that by tweaking your mindset and really stepping into that role of the business owner or the director, right? Being okay with having to put your foot down once in a while, and not having the time to chit chat in the hallways for hours on end while the kids are alone in their classrooms, right? Or the phone's ringing in the office. You have to be okay with taking on that role, right? Dressing the part, looking the part, speaking the part, acting the part. You have to, because if you don't, then no one's going to take you seriously. You're going to struggle with all sorts of things, especially the day-to-day operations and dealing with parents and dealing with complaints and dealing with staff that never shows up or just looks, burnt out or really doesn't want to be there, because they won't take you seriously. And I know this for a fact because when I was working in my center, again, I was 24 years old when I started my daycare. And my business partner was 22. So we were extremely young, never been business owners ever. We just had this dream. We said, let's do it. And we ventured off and we did it. But when we started hiring staff and when I started connecting with families, it was so hard for me to take myself seriously. And I knew that other people wouldn't take me seriously because I didn't take myself seriously. So I had to really, really work on myself a lot. And it took a long time to be able to say, hey, I run the show here. I'm the business owner. This is what the curriculum is. This is what the vision is. This is what we believe in. This is what we don't believe in. And if you don't like it, then unfortunately you don't fit the team culture, the team, the tribe. You don't fit our program and our values, and you just need to go, right? And I did that with parents, and I did that with staff as well. But before that, I was one of these people that was like, I don't know if I should do this, or I know I'm the boss, but what if I walk in the class and I look at them funny, and then they kind of look at me and they think, oh my gosh, she's staring at me, and what does she want, right? I had that tape playing around in my mind because that's what I used to say when I had my boss looking over my shoulders, right? And that's all I knew, and that's what I was doing. But I had to stop and really think, okay, what am I doing here? Am I running a business like a CEO? Or am I running this business like a paid employee that's trying to figure things out all the time and struggling and trying to make everybody happy, right? And once you really stop and think how other people perceive you, right, is all you. It's all you. You have to put that out there so that they can feel it and they can sense it, and then react to that. If not, you're just going to be struggling with your role as a director, and obviously nobody wants that, because I hear from childcare business owners that I connect with and that I work with that they have maybe a few centers open in the area, and they don't necessarily work in their businesses. They have directors running it for them. And I hear it over and over. I have to get rid of my director, and tours have dropped, the staff keeps quitting, the place looks dirty, parents are complaining, right? And that's exactly what you're going to be doing or attracting if you don't take yourself seriously. Not yourself, your job, sorry. Not yourself, your job, your position seriously. So the second point that I wanted to talk to you about when it comes to being valued more as a childcare director is trying to avoid bosses from hell. Okay. So we've all worked for daycares where the owner was like sent from hell. No joke. I've already worked in, I could think of one. The others weren't that bad. Well, two actually. But this one was really, really bad. Straight out of college, I loved my job. I was so excited to start working in the field, all these ideas, everything was fresh. And I landed a job at a daycare and I didn't know any better. And I said yes. And I started working. Now I was working as an educator, but this definitely applies to you if you are a director and you're trying to find a director position. It's the same thing. Once I went into the interview and I knew that this was going to be the worst decision of my life, I still said yes because I needed a job. I was straight out of college and I needed a job. And once I started working, I realized that there was no way that I could stay there for a long time. I started hating my job. I started not wanting to wake up in the morning to go to work. I was so exhausted all the time. Every time my boss would walk in the class, she would be the type that would yell and just say these things that were so inappropriate that I would never tell anyone that it has ever worked for me ever. And it was just things that were just normal to everyone in the area. So she had an assistant director. She had, we had the cook, we had the staff, the janitors, everyone felt miserable and you can see it in their faces. So tip number 2 for you is if you're trying to add more value to your job as a director, don't take jobs from bosses that you feel are going to make your life hell or miserable. Just don't do it. It's not worth it. It's not worth it. You can tell when you're walking in a place if the staff is happy, if the kids are happy, if families are happy. You can tell, especially if you go in for an interview. You can definitely ask questions and you get the sense, is this something that I want to focus on or not? Is this a place where I want to be spending 8-9 hours a day or not, right? Programs, curriculums, if they're organized with systems and procedures, or is just everything a total hot mess and they're expecting you to fix everything, right? Again, no one wants to work for the boss from hell, especially when you're working in childcare, right? I really believe it's a place for special human beings that really love working with kids and love just making a change in their lives. And then when you take on a job of making sure that the kids are safe, the parents are happy, that the staff is happy, and that everything is running smoothly, and you have to report to the boss from hell, it's just not worth your time. Find another job, do yourself the favor, because anything you do in that type of environment is not going to make anyone happy. It's not going to add to your value. It's not going to be appreciated. And I know this for a fact. Okay. So don't do it. It's not worth it. And lastly, what I think is going to really increase the value of your position as a childcare director. So this is if you are just starting out or if you're applying for positions right now, or if you're thinking about it, is adding to your skill set. I mean, yes, I think it's one of those things that, we think, duh, of course I have to have some type of certificate to be a director. Yes, but that's not enough. It's not enough. The world has changed, business has changed, the online space has changed, and you have to be able to be the type of childcare director that has that mindset for growth versus someone that thinks that just did a certificate to be a childcare director and then that was it. They know everything they need to know for the rest of their life, right? We've all have friends or people around us that feel like, everything that they learned, high school or college is all they need to know until they die. And it's just not the case, especially if you want to be, one of these directors or leaders that wants to be excellent at what they do and not just kind of blah. You want to have that mindset of growth, of success, of wanting to learn, wanting to be better as yourself, as a leader, as someone that is running the program, but also having the knowledge of, things that are coming up in our industry right now. So just having the latest trainings and the skill set that you need in order to be able to run the program properly. day-to-day operations, paperwork, accounting, software, communicating with the parents, working on your skills when it comes to dealing with conflicts, with your staff, or curriculum, or dealing with clients, or giving tours that convert, or marketing. That's a big one. I know that for a fact that marketing is just one of those things that has drastically changed throughout the years, right? When I started my daycare, there was no such thing as Facebook ads or anything like that. There was no online marketing, right? Even if there was, I had no idea about it. And no one that I associated myself with, like other owners in the area, we just publicized the good old-fashioned way, which was just putting a classified ad in the local paper. Well, fast forward 16 years later, everything has changed. The world has moved to the online space. And when I look at the curriculum that someone that is, let's say, following a child care director certificate doing, they don't cover half of the things that are going to actually help you run a better, more profitable, successful program, right? And adding to your skill sets is just one of those things that you have to do on your own. No one's going to come tell you, maybe you should do this, maybe you should do that. No. You have to be the type of person that wants to be a better speaker, a better leader, better with tech, more comfortable dealing with clients, more comfortable speaking in public during, general assemblies, right? You have to be able to say, I want to learn more. How do I do this? And how do I do that? And just having that curiosity that comes with a growth mindset. Because if you don't, and you rely on the skills you learned in a course you took 5 years ago, and you think that's all you need to be able to be an amazing childcare director, then you're fooling yourself. I connect with a lot of childcare directors that tell me straight out, I did my certificate, I have a job now, I'm working, the owner is never there. They're expecting me to run the program from scratch, like to do everything. I don't know how to do most of these things. Like the training that I received didn't cover. Well, it's up to you as a director to search online and to get the knowledge that you need. And again, there's resources all over the place. So there's no excuse that, I didn't know that Google existed or that YouTube existed, right? There are online courses you can take. There's local groups that offer trainings. There's a lot of networking groups that offer special trainings. And no one's expecting you to go back to school for 20 years, but you can definitely do something online that's going to improve the way you write social media content, the way you connect with your clients, to have better skills in terms of dealing with, arguments and conflicts that arise with families, with complaints, with your staff, right? These are all skill sets that you have to go and get. And if you don't have them right now, the good news is that a skill can be learned. So anything that you're struggling with right now, tech, anything that you feel as though, oh my gosh, I'm never going to learn this. Yes, you can. It's a part of you being a childcare director. You have to be okay with learning new skill set, and that increases your value, because no owner wants to hire a director and then hire 20 other people to do other things that the director is supposed to be doing, right? No one wants to do that. At least I would never pay for that. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments. I do want to mention that if you are watching this right now and you're a childcare director and you want to add to your skill set, we just launched a childcare director marketing certification course next month, May 9th, I believe. It's for 2 weeks, and you are going to learn everything you need to know about branding your offer, standing out from your competitors, creating social media content that attracts clients without being glued to your phone. You're going to learn about email marketing, setting up an email list, newsletter, as well as Facebook ads. So if you're interested, I will put the link underneath this video. Go ahead, click there, and then get on the wait list. We do have a wait list because we only take 10 clients, 10 students every single session. So if that interests you, link is underneath this video or in my bio if you're watching on Instagram. Go ahead and check that out. Have an amazing rest of your day, you guys, and I will see you guys on Monday. Bye.